If you listen to Elvis's music these days, it's a little bit hard to believe he was once considered so rebellious. But some of today's edgiest musicians will tell you that they have been deeply influenced by the King. And now, 40 years after his death, we travel to Memphis. Here's ABC's Chris Connelly.
40 years ago, Linda Thompson got a phone call at her home. On the other end of the line was a 9-year-old girl. It was Lisa Marie Presley.
She said, "My daddy's dead, my daddy's dead." She just blurted it out.
Thompson had spent 4.5 years as Elvis Presley's lover and confidant before they parted in 1976. 1 year later, she struggled to believe what she was hearing. The King of Rock and Roll, dead at 42.
Presley was found unconscious in his mansion at about 2:30, was pronounced dead an hour later.
I first quizzed her, "Are you sure that he didn't just go to the hospital?" And she said, no, he's dead.
4 decades have passed. How long? This year, Elvis's granddaughter, Riley Keough, was nominated for a Golden Globe, an award Elvis never won. And the love as hundreds of millions of fans have for the King of Rock and Roll and the electrifying music he gave to the world never did die.
Well, that's all right, Mama.
It all started on July 5th, 1954, at Sun Studios in Memphis, where the truck driver who'd yet to sing with a band did the song That's All Right.
You had this kid coming in, this 19-year-old kid coming into the studio. He had never performed in public before. It's a music that's so spontaneous, so free.
Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street.
2 years later, he was crushing it live and on TV with Heartbreak Hotel.
He had a look that nobody had back then. The Italian type of waistcoat and, the stitching and very cool stuff.
Yet the generation has aged that knew Elvis as a rebel, the hip-thrusting thunderbolt of charisma and sexuality, who shocked a button-down nation with his performance of Hound Dog on the Milton Berle Show. For such contemporary country artists as Lady Antebellum of Need You Now fame. Elvis's once dangerous music was passed down to them by parents and grandparents.
My first memory of hearing Elvis Presley was my papa. It was my dad's dad. He would work real hard all through the week, and on the weekends, Elvis was a go-to, just music that was playing in our house.
Jailhouse Rock, Blue Suede Shoes. Playing them on guitar with my dad were some of my first introductions to Elvis.
He passed away when I was about 6 months old, but I've always been a fan of his music, but kind of a student too.
Playing drums for Elvis made you feel like you were backing a stripper. You had to catch everything he did. I even studied karate later on to where I could anticipate his moves.
He was so nervous about performing, he wasn't sure the fans would like him.
He asked me one time, "Why are they here?" I said, "To hear you." He said, "I can't understand why." Here we go again.
Those who sang backup on such songs as Suspicious Minds, on tours in Las Vegas, or here in Nashville's historic Studio B, would never forget their years with Elvis.
Most artists sing with the mic on a stand. Elvis wouldn't do that. So he would grab that mic with his hand as if he were on the stage.
The 1992 comedy Honeymoon in Vegas would feature this performance from a 4-year-old Elvis impersonator. Yes, that's a young Bruno Mars, whose thoughts back then appeared in the documentary Viva Elvis.
I like his singing and his dance and his lips.
10 years ago, it was Lisa Marie, duetting with her late father on his social justice hit In the Ghetto. Its proceeds going to charity.
I had thought about many other songs, but that was just the one that just did have a really in-depth thing that I felt like I could do something with.
In 1972, Linda Thompson was a beauty pageant goddess 12 credits short of graduating from Memphis State when she met 37-year-old Elvis at the movies.
You can't even remember the movie.
No. Would you be able to if Elvis Presley were sitting next to you, macking on you? Well, I was very standoffish until he whispered in my ear, "Honey, you know that I'm not married anymore. We're separated. We have been separated for 7 months." And I went, "Oh, well, let me lean in a little closer, hear a little more here."
As she chronicled in her memoir, A Little Thing Called Life, Linda was moved into Elvis's Graceland residence just weeks later.
he confided a flaw that he had to you.
He said, I'll probably only admit this once, but I have a self-destructive streak. It was evident in a lot of things, but particularly in the way that he abused his body with prescription medication.
One humorous out-of-control moment would enter Elvis lore forever.
We were, the two of us, watching TV at Graceland. Robert Goulet happened to be on TV singing, "If ever I would leave you." And he says, honey, step out of the room. And he starts to reach for his gun. He says, just can't stand to watch this any longer. So I closed the door behind me and I heard boom, boom, boom. I walked back into the bedroom and the television's just shot to hell.
That TV, with its bullet hole, is among the memorabilia now on display at Elvis Presley's Memphis, a new complex of Elvis-themed museums, restaurants, and shops across from Graceland. A $137 million bet that Elvis fans will continue to make the trip to re-experience his legend. His backup singers paying tribute, performing Sweet, Sweet Spirit 40 years after they sang it at his funeral.
He was one of the greatest singers and entertainers of all time. Never seen anything like it. Back then we didn't have the smoke and the fire and the explosions on stage. It was him and the music.
For Nightline, I'm Chris Connelly in Los Angeles.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.